All we want to do is be surfing 100% of the time. And that's not feasible necessarily, but as long as we're mind surfing 100% of the time, then life is really good. And I don't mind surfing, so.
Howdy folks, welcome to another moment here with me at the bench. Now, there are all kinds of super awesome people that ride Onewheels, and one of them is Kai Lenny. Now, if you don't know what this guy does, Kev, play the clips. Anyways, it's absolutely mental, but we had a really cool opportunity to go hang out with Kai and sit down with him, pick his brain a little bit. He said some things that I didn't totally expect, so here are the three biggest takeaways, things we learned from talking to Kai Lenny. Number one, don't underestimate the power of your first ride or present moment.
The moment I realized this is what I really wanted to do was after I caught my first wave by myself when I was 4 years old. And it was a defining moment in my life because from then on, I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it's pretty rare that you have that feeling. And in this case, I just wanted to get really good at it. And to be perfectly honest, I've been chasing the best ride of my life for, my entire life. And I think that first wave still probably sticks out as the single most memorable ride I've ever had yet. So in recent times, I'd say being out at Jaws, Pe'ahi as it's known in Hawaiian, and being out there in the evening, everyone's tired, so they've all left. There's that golden light, waves are 50 to 60 feet, and there's just gold everywhere from that light bouncing off the wave, and there's just these emerald green barrels, and it's just, in that moment, nowhere else feels more important to me. Like everywhere else just, blends away, and you're just living in the moment. And that, the truest feeling about living the moment is, I think, the biggest draw to surfing. And maybe why my first wave was so important was because it was maybe the first time I lived truly in the moment, like on purpose, And so those Jaws sessions, when it's really big and no one's around and you're able to just experience it, Mother Nature at her most dynamic moment.
I thought it was super cool to hear that despite riding all of these insane waves on all of these different rigs, still Kai's first wave he ever caught when he was 4 years old is might be like the most memorable one and the one that he's still chasing, that experience that he's still chasing. To me, that connected with giving Onewheel demos, right? When you're giving someone a Onewheel demo and they're able to experience the feeling of riding for the first time, you see something click, like with their facial features, you can watch that sort of like unlock for them, this brand new experience. And you can also tell it's connected, it's intertwined with being in the present moment. You're not worried about your phone going off or your emails or whatever. You're totally focused on, whoa, this is a whole new experience that I've never felt before. But it was awesome to hear from one of the world's greatest board riders how that first moment when he's 4 years old and first felt that presence of being in this immersive new experience, how that has really fueled his whole career and his whole progression. So don't underestimate that first ride and the feeling of being in the present. Number two, it's about flight, not about surfing.
I think what I love most about the feeling of surfing is that sensation of glide. It's something that is a little bit indescribable. A classic saying is only a surfer knows the feeling, and anyone can be a surfer, but you have to be able to earn it, and everyone has to earn it at some point. And by earning it, it's about just going for it. And for me, but doing all these sports is about getting better and being the best I can be every single day and having those feelings of flight. I think it all comes down to trying to fly without necessarily even leaving the water sometimes. Something about doing just a big turn on a surfboard, it feels like you're flying because you're just skimming over the surface. With a foil, you're literally standing on an underwater airplane wing and you're flying. And kiting, you can just boost with your kite and literally feel like you're flying. And with windsurfing, it's same thing. You go into orbit and you come back down. It's so fun that I think anybody that puts a little bit of effort into it and experiences that level of fun can't go back. And more now than ever in surfing, so many people are open-minded to doing different things because at the end of the day, surfing's all about riding waves regardless of what you have. It could be even a bodyboard or a skimboard. It's just riding waves. and sharing that stoke with everyone else. And you know, when you do take up these sports, it's easy to share waves because they allow you to get enough rides for yourself that you really just want to see other people have as much fun as you're having.
If Kai thought about his craft just through the lens of surfing, it would, in a way, introduce some limiting beliefs to what he does. He clearly has this very open-minded perspective in order to chase that experience of flight, of flying. And that leads him out of this set of limiting beliefs where anything is possible, he just needs the right tools for it, right? And so he's constantly assessing how he can chase that experience and what he could do with his gear to get there. And I think that's one of the reasons why he wheels as well, is because, you know, if you're just getting to the grocery store, hopping on a wheel feels a lot closer to flying than walking there or getting in your car, right? So I thought that was a cool thing to hear, how you might expect him to be hyper-focused on surfing waves, but instead his mindset is a little bit like broader than that in a way, which I thought was pretty cool. Number 3, good is good, but there can always be better.
I think, you know, 15, 20 years, things have evolved so fast. I mean, you always question what could possibly be next. Well, the way I look at it is, if you've, you know, in the beginning of, like, I would say modern surfing, you had the traditional surfboard, then you had that shortboard revolution, so maneuverable surfboards, but then you had Hobie cats, so 16-foot long sailboats, 2 hulls, and then out of that, there was a gray area. Okay, how can you like basically merge those two? And so that became windsurfing. And then it's like, okay, what's the gray area between surfing and windsurfing? Well, it's in lighter wind. What if we put a kite higher in the air where the wind is cleaner and there's more consistency in that airflow? You have kite surfing. Okay, well, what happens when you wanna relieve surface tension and you wanna essentially be able to go in even less wind or just have a smoother ride? The hydrofoil. And then, well, we don't need a kite so high in the air. We can actually bring the kite to our hands and hold on to that. So the process of which I look at innovating sports is always looking for the gray areas in between. And what's in the future? I think as technology evolves, equipment will allow us to do more and more different things, and you just never know. I mean, I'm hoping that they declassify some of that anti-gravitational tech, so I can take one board from land, one board onto the water, and just never step off my board. You know, just literally the hoverboard. Just ride anything. I wanna ride a cloud, I wanna ride a wave, I wanna ride the mountain. Why ever do anything else? Like, that is the dream, to be able to just ride any formation, whether it be that liquid water, a cloud, vapor, or just mountain. Harness all the elements, even magma.
Now, one thing that came across with talking to Kai is just how analytical his approach was. Outside of the interview, we were asking him about his gear a little bit more. And he was just saying that he's never gotten a board where he doesn't have like a little bit of curiosity about, what if we changed this just slightly, or what if we changed that just a little bit? How would that affect the ride? Constant pursuit of sort of excellence. And again, it comes back to being like an optimist and not having these limiting beliefs that like, oh, these are the tools, this is what we have access to, you know, hopefully this will do. No, he's always like dreaming. You know, I think one of the ways that I've seen that up close and personal is through the pro team, right? We have people that work here full time that are basically just thinking about little ways in which Onewheels can be improved for hyper-specific use cases. You know, I think that's driven a lot of innovation in the last couple years here. And I think it's important going forward too, just to continue to find those areas for improvement and always be striving for something a little bit better. At Onewheel, we believe that the future is rad. We believe in an optimistic worldview where technology can actually help you achieve these awesome experiences, connect you with the world, and there's just a lot of overlap there between how Kai sees the world as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. Overall, just a really cool experience to be able to go hang out with him. Super inspirational guy. I love how you can tell how much he's thought about these things. You know, he's not just like out there sending it. There's a lot of thought and practice and care and intention that goes into becoming the level of a board rider and water sports person, waterman, that he is. So really inspirational, and just cool that someone at that level also appreciates the Onewheel and uses it in their daily life. So hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this to be interesting and useful. And I don't know what question to ask you, but if you got some comments below about whatever we talked about, drop them in there. Or if there's any other pro athlete that you want us to go interview, they might have a wheel, or maybe we can get them one. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.